Welcome back to the Crypto's Key Conversation. We're going to quickly jump into CoinGecko here. We're currently sitting at a $1.81 trillion market cap, currently up 0.3%. Looking at the top 10 here, Bitcoin sitting at 38,029, Ethereum sitting at 2,620, Tether is Tether, Binance is sitting at 381.52, Cardano sitting at $1.06, Solana sitting at 95.24, XRP sitting at almost 62 cents, Polkadot sitting at 18.56, Terra sitting at 49.29 or 24. You see that Polkadot had flipped Terra. Terra's back at the number 10 spot again. So coming over here to the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index, we're currently sitting at a 29. So we're up. Look, we're moving on up. So we're still in the fear range. We're not in extreme fear anymore. So that's some positives. Obviously, we've seen a little bit more green and positivity within the market within the past couple of days. We were recently at an 11 just last week, and then a 10, weeks before that. So I wanted to start the article off with this. It says a new SEC proposal could be a disaster for DeFi exchanges. The Securities and Exchange Commission could be looking to bring DeFi exchanges within its purview. So it says a new SEC proposal looking to expand the definition of securities exchange could threaten DeFi. The proposal aims to broaden the definition of an exchange to any system allowing buyers and sellers to communicate their securities trading interest. If enacted, the proposal would likely make it impossible for a decentralized exchange to comply with SEC regulations. So we got some more, overpowering and over SEC proposals trying to, get a stranglehold on our market here. Johnny Dean had tweeted based off of this is Raging Panda's tweet. He says, "Sounds like the SEC is setting itself up to call all crypto securities. If this is not opposed, it will effectively kill the entire industry. Could this set an international precedent? Your take." And then Johnny Dean had tweeted, said, "The proposal also asserts that the new definition will overrule previous SEC non-action letters and guidance, assuring certain kinds of systems are not securities exchanges." And he says, Gary Gensler tends to renege on non-action letters to protect the banks from DeFi. So whatever the case is, whatever the outcome is, of this so-called proposal that they're setting, I mean, anything that's going to stifle or hinder, the innovation, the ability for the crypto space to flourish and, do what it set out to do, to fight the good fight and change the world, then it needs to be denied. And the people that are so against it need to get out of office. They need to be voted out, because it's the writing's on the wall. People see that the crypto market can change, the outcome of our life, can change the course of our lives, not even just financially, just efficiency wise, and just trying to find better ways to do things, and introducing so much more to a lot of people around the world. So I'm glad that he brought that up, and he had like this little danger warning sign. Coming over here, the digital asset investors responding to Ian Calderon's tweet here says, "The White House looking at cryptocurrencies and how to regulate shouldn't be interpreted as negative. If anything, regulation brings legitimacy and broader adoption. More people participating is good. You can't get there without a minimum level of consumer protection." So just like I've said in previous videos, I think when it comes to, regulatory clarity and regulation, as long as it doesn't stifle or hinder, the innovation and growth of the space, and it's on a fair stance, for all parties, especially investors, I think that's absolutely true. Like we do need regulation. We do need something set in place that gives, those millions and millions of peoples and those millions and millions of institutions and those trillions of dollars sitting on the sideline more confidence in the space, so they can see it as, okay, hey, this is legitimate. We can go ahead and jump in and not just get our feet wet. We can fully dive into this space, which is in turn going to help our space grow for the masses. So digital asset investor has said, "Nobody has ever had a problem with regulation. Make the rules clear instead of having an SEC that uses selective enforcement to pick winners and losers. Regulations with a level playing field and not backroom, closed door VC deals is what the American people deserve." So absolutely. And he's referencing mainly the the Ethereum free pass with, Jay Clayton, William Hemming's speech, and you got Gary Gensler as our new chair, and just all of those, representatives that were in those 63 emails that went out about, William Hemming's speech, and just a lot of the shadiness that's been uncovered within the Twitterverse, within the Ripple versus SEC case. So absolutely, make sure it is a level playing field. Make sure things are fair in every aspect. Let these projects compete, and the best will prevail. But in that case, the entire space will be healthy from the competition. That's healthy competition. So absolutely. So coming over here, I wanted to go over this thread that John Cantrell had tweeted talking about game theory and stuff, and I thought it was pretty powerful. It says the adoption and therefore price of Bitcoin might accelerate faster than most people realize. What is game theory? How does it apply to Bitcoin? You probably heard the ideas thrown around, but let me break it down for you. So he goes, game theory is a study and analysis of the strategy used by rational actors within some environment. In a simple form, you can think of as analyzing how each player should play in a board game. The ideas can be applied more broadly to all types of games. So what games are you going? So it says, so what games are going on in Bitcoin? There's actually many separate but related games being played within the Bitcoin ecosystem. There is mining ecosystem, development process, individuals, company treasuries, and even nation state games at play. While they all are interested in their own right, let's focus today's thread on the one that will force an accelerated global adoption of Bitcoin. The idea is actually pretty simple to understand and is basically the same for individuals, companies, and nation states. It says, let's use a simplified example to accelerate the idea. Let's say there are three people, Alice, Bob, and Carol. Alice is currently the wealthiest and has the net worth of 100. Bob is the next wealthiest with a 60, and Carol is the poorest with 25. The price of Bitcoin is $1. It's important to understand that because of Bitcoin's fixed supply, the more people adopt or demand Bitcoin, the higher the price will go. In our example, if Carol converts her wealth to Bitcoin, she's able to acquire 25 Bitcoin, but she consumes all the supply at $1. The price of Bitcoin is now $3. Bob sees what Carol did and decides he should also convert his net worth to Bitcoin before Alice does. Bob is able to acquire 20 Bitcoin and consumes all the supply at $3. The price of Bitcoin is now $6. Alice wants to trade with Bob and Carol, but they are operating in Bitcoin now. Alice is forced to convert her net worth to Bitcoin and is only able to acquire 16 Bitcoin. The price of Bitcoin is now 10. Before hyper Bitcoinization happening, the standing was Alice 100, Bob 60, Carol 25. After hyper Bitcoinization, the standing is Alice 16 Bitcoin, Bob is 20 Bitcoin, and Carol's 25 Bitcoin. So he converted this as Alice has 160, Bob has 200, and Carol has 250 net worth. The entire situation has flipped based on the order they adopted Bitcoin. This is exactly what can happen with individuals, companies, and nation states. The billionaires, S&P 500, and the richest countries can all be leapfrogged by early adopters in the race to adopt and acquire Bitcoin. Back to the game theory. If you understand that this is what happens if you're late to acquiring Bitcoin, then strategy says you should acquire Bitcoin as early as possible. This is what people like you, companies like MicroStrategy, and countries like El Salvador are realizing. So he says the president of El Salvador predicts at least 2 other countries will adopt Bitcoin 2022. This is the beginning of theory playing out. As nations see what is going on, they will quickly realize they can't afford to wait. So just quickly, real quick on this topic, as you can see, we've been covering a lot of this adoption happening within our previous videos. And as you can see, it's truly a snowball effect. You know, it started very small. You know, El Salvador started very small, and then it just starts rolling down the hill and kind of picking up traction and getting bigger in size. So that adoption is happening. So continuing on, Cantrell says, as many more and more nations adopt Bitcoin, and others will be forced to adopt or be left behind in the transition to a hyper-Bitcoinized world. The same thing will happen at the company level and even the individual level until the transition to a Bitcoin standard is complete. I hope this helped you understand what people are talking about when they reference a game theory related to adoption in Bitcoin by individual companies and nation states. So I thought that was a pretty cool, kind of very simple way of kind of talking about the game theory in, in the Bitcoin form. So I thought that would kind of get your mind thinking about, how early are we really to this problem. And it goes beyond Bitcoin. Obviously there's other assets out there that you may invest in that have a fixed supply as well, so the same theory can be applied. So I thought that was pretty powerful, and I want to thank John for putting that up. So coming over here, got a positive here. It says Wall Street banks are expanding crypto sell side research. It says Wall Street banks have beefing up their crypto research shops. A number of banks, including Jefferies and Credit Suisse, have job ads out for new crypto research roles. So whatever their plan is with this, you can go in and read this article if you like. But just they're seeing them writing on the wall. They're trying to learn as much as they can, gather as much data they can in regards of, you know, where this market's heading and where our future's heading. So, you know, just more stuff like that is pretty powerful. And you've seen, you know, companies coming out, throwing out, you know, a massive amount of crypto jobs, blockchain technology jobs. You know, you have colleges offering education. There's so much going on. You know, people are wanting to be educated within this space to see, you know, what this space has to offer and where the future is headed. So that's absolutely massive. So last thing here. So we talked a lot about the Bitcoin Fear Greed Index and how, you know, when we're in extreme fear, you know, we tend to see a lot of negative articles kind of further suppressing the you know, the narrative and, you know, adding more weight to the issue or adding more salt to our wounds as we're just getting pummeled and decimated within the market because there's so much blood in the streets. But, you know, you have a lot of, you know, guys like James from Advanced Answers. You have Ben from To the Cryptoverse. You know, a lot of different YouTubers out there, crypto YouTubers that talk about like how instantly things can flip. I've been in here since 2017. I've seen the ebbs and flows and the good and bad in this market, and I've seen how quickly things can change. And it's crazy how like we go from, you know, 10 extreme fear, you know, what, a week, or excuse me, I think it was 11 or 13. It was like, what, a week ago. And then he goes, kind of crazy how quickly the market becomes your fork over 38,000 or 38,500 Bitcoin, when literally a week ago it was the doom price. So absolutely, that goes into what I was saying. Like, things happen so fast. If you have high conviction in what you're investing in, then why panic? Why panic when you do a little bit of research and you just, you know, zoom out, look at whether you're looking at charts or fundamental analysis or whatever the case is. You zoom out and you see that, hey, you know, this is just the beginning. Super early. Things have been in a constant uptrend since inception. So with all that being said, I just wanted to share kind of, you know, my take on kind of what's going on. And just to let you know, like, hey, me personally, me and my wife, high conviction on the space. We truly believe we're on the right side of history, the right side of law with everything. And it's just kind of a waiting game to see whenever that regulatory clarity comes out. And, you know, this space can really be regulated fairly, and it can really, you know, be set off, let off its shackles and do its thing and fight the good fight that it's, you know, placed on this earth to do. With all that being said, stay strong out there. Be safe.